Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in to the Controversy 7 once again here on YouTube. So, I've got some breaking news for you. For those of you who thought before that the controversial Temple of Baal, which was to be reconstructed and placed in New York City and in London, many of you thought that it was cancelled, and I thought it was cancelled as well. That's why I avoided doing a video on it. However, guess what I just found out? I have just been forwarded the information that the Temple of Baal is actually not cancelled. In fact, it is going up as of today. They are doing a construction of the Temple of Baal, the Ark of the Temple of Baal. It's being reconstructed and it is being erected in New York City and also in London. And guess what it is called? It is no longer referred to as the Temple of Baal or the Temple of Baal for some of you who are North Americans, hardcore pronunciation type people. This ark is no longer referred to as the Ark of Baal or Ark of the Temple of Baal, but rather it is referred to now as the Ark of Triumph. This is to get rid of all the Christians and all the critics who speak against this symbol of devil worship, which is well known as a historic site of human sacrifice. Let me illustrate a point here. America was founded originally as a Christian nation. Its foundation was upon the Word of God. It stood for religious freedom, not something that was of a pagan nature, neither anything that resembles or reflects the characteristics of demon worship. And now let's take into account the exact opposite. So let's go into an area that has idols and altars and temples which were dedicated to demons. And these altars were well known for having human children sacrificed on them, the bloodshed. And while humans were being sacrificed upon the altar, the congregation would remove their clothes and they would begin to have bisexual orgies with one another, men having sex with men and women. Likewise, also the women having sex with women and also with other men. They would participate in these activities while they watch their children being slaughtered, while they take other people's children as well and they sacrifice them to the devil of which they worship, the devil which they call Baal or Baal. This is an image that no human being should have to remember in their lifetime. This is a site that does not deserve to be held and preserved for all to be able to acknowledge and honor. This is a site that deserves to be burned down and it deserves to be in the ground. The altars and temples which represent these devil worship ceremonies do not deserve to have any type of glorification in any way, shape, or form. These temples have no grounds on a land that is supposedly a Christian nation. So with this news, many of you probably already know that it was ISIL members that destroyed these ancient ruins of the Temple of Baal. And what does the American government do? They say, well, since they destroyed that, we need to rebuild that historic monument, the Ark of the Temple of Baal, and let us bring it to the land of the United States of America. Likewise also in Europe. In London, they have also voted that they're going to bring in that same ark that represents the Temple of Baal and put that into the heart of London itself. And I believe this is also a way of the governments actually telling you and telling all of us this is what they stand for and this is what they want. So if this is what they want, if this is what they are voting for, it means God is not welcomed in your city. It means God is not welcome to be part of that government. It means that they have chased God out of the picture and they have opened the doors for the devil himself. And do you know what it means if God is not welcomed in your city? It means get out of that city, because judgments of God are going to fall upon the ground, because that ground you are standing upon is cursed ground. New York City has become the habitation of devils. And what are the chances of this? New York City is the biggest city in the United States of America. New York City holds the One World Trade Center. New York City holds the biggest stock market in the world, famously known as the New York Stock Exchange. Also, New York City hosts the very heart, the headquarters of the United Nations. And these organizations which I have just mentioned to you, these big ones, these are just a few of many huge organizations. These are simply just different avenues in which the globalists are going to utilize these to bring forth their new world order. It is a godless society that is being brought forth, a godless system of order that is pro-pagan rituals and anti-Christian, as it has the very spirit of Antichrist. And Obama, before he was elected as president, he spoke with his own mouth saying that America is no longer a Christian nation. He not only said that, but he also went on to actually make fun of the Bible. You can see clearly what kind of spirit the man possesses. As of now, the Temple of Baal is being magnified by the simple reconstruction of its arch. And this thing, make note, it is being constructed of Egyptian marble, which resembles an image close to the original in appearance. I will post the links for these articles in the video description box so you can go and read this for yourself. All I have simply done is summarize this, and I have simply placed a commentary there on this subject so that you will be able to know exactly what is going on from a biblical point of view, because this is something that is very dangerous. However, the media is going to want you to think differently. And this is because they are going to do whatever they can to justify why they need to put this ark of the Temple of Baal on the soil that you are standing upon. What you should make note carefully, ladies and gentlemen, is the Temple of Baal brings forth with it the spirit of Jezebel, that evil witch in ancient days. Baal is simply an ancient Canaanite demon. That's it. It's an ancient Canaanite demon these pagans worshipped, and they sacrificed children on the altars of Baal for the sake of their land being fertile. Not just that alone, but also sexuality, as I mentioned earlier. All of these things, you must put these things into account. These are what comes with the Temple of Baal. This is what the Temple of Baal represents. It represents corruption, immorality, wickedness, spiritual wickedness. And this is something that Yahweh has condemned. This is something that you should have nothing to do with. Avoid these things. If your city is hosting such things, if your city is building an ark that represents the Temple of Baal, get out of that city. Get out before that city comes falling down, just like the walls of Jericho came tumbling down. When your city is hosting such things, be aware that the writings are being written on the walls of that city which you are living in. And this Canaanite demon, Baal, that these ancient pagans worshipped, just as it was on the Canaan land when the walls of Jericho came tumbling down, likewise also modern Jericho will fall. Its walls will come tumbling down. But this time it will not be at the sound of the trumpets of Joshua, but rather it will be now at the sound of the trumpets of Yeshua, Jesus Christ. So be aware. If you see these things taking place in your city, get out of that cursed ground, because that ground you are standing upon is cursed, and judgments of God are going to fall upon it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Controversy 7. Thank you for tuning in and for joining me. Be sure to subscribe if this is your first time tuning in to my channel. I got a lot more information coming across your way that definitely will be helpful to many of you. Other than that, I'm not going to hold you off. You take care of yourselves, be safe, and I'll see you next time.